Look at this picture for a second. Something is wrong with it. Everyone in this classroom is from 1968, except for one thing. That phone shouldn't exist yet. But the experiment that built it does. In 1968, a Harvard psychologist proved that expectation alone can change a human being. That experiment never stopped running. The strangest thing about this experiment isn't that it worked, it's that you don't know you're in it. Let me show you what I mean. His name was Robert Rosenthal. Before the classroom study that made him famous, he ran a stranger experiment first. He told one group of researchers that their lab rats had been bred for intelligence. He told another group their rats were dumb. The rats were identical, but the smart rats finished the maze faster. Every time. It wasn't the rats. It was the people running the experiment. Their expectations were leaking into the rats through small, invisible signals. So Rosenthal moved the experiment to a real elementary school. He gave the teachers a list of students he claimed had been identified as late bloomers, kids about to have a major intellectual growth spurt. The names were picked from a hat. There was nothing special about those kids. 8 months later, the so-called late bloomers had pulled measurably ahead of their classmates. Researchers analyzed exactly what had happened. The teachers hadn't given those kids extra lessons. They hadn't graded them more leniently. What they'd done was micro. They smiled at them a fraction more. They held eye contact a beat longer. When those kids hesitated on a question, the teachers waited, gave them an extra second to think, instead of moving on. The brain rises to meet what's expected of it. This became one of the most replicated findings in psychology. Rosenthal called it the Pygmalion Effect. You probably know it as the self-fulfilling prophecy. And the version Rosenthal proved is its sharpest form. Expectation, transmitted through invisible signals, becomes outcome. Now ask yourself, who else in your life transmits invisible signals to you all day long? I want to be careful here, because I'm about to make a metaphor, and I want you to know it's a metaphor. A phone is not a teacher. It doesn't have a mind. It can't want anything. But the algorithm running it has a goal, and the goal is engagement. And engagement, as every platform's internal data has now made clear, spikes hardest on one specific emotional state: anxiety. Anxious users scroll longer. Anxious users return more often. Anxious users click the next thing and the next, looking for the relief that the next thing promises and never delivers. So the system expects anxiety from you, not consciously. It has no consciousness, but functionally, mathematically. Every signal it sends you is calibrated by a model that has learned. This user, in this state, at this hour, is most likely to engage if shown this. The notification that pings you at 11:47 p.m., just as you're about to put the phone down. The post about someone your age who already has what you don't. The headline calibrated to make you feel slightly behind on the world. These are the smile, the eye contact, the wait time of the algorithm. Invisible, constant, and like Rosenthal's teaches, not what they appear to be. Here's where it gets uncomfortable, because over time your brain learns this device. It learns that picking up the phone in a state of low-grade anxiety leads to a small dopamine release, the scroll, the novelty, the numbing. So your brain starts producing anxiety to receive the soothing. You become the student rising to meet the teacher's expectation. Except the teacher is a recommendation engine, and the expectation it has of you is your dysfunction. This is why willpower fails. This is why just put the phone down doesn't work. This is why every screen time tracker shows you the same number every week, no matter how many times you swear it'll be different. You're not weak. You're being expected to fail by a system that profits from the failure, in the exact same way Rosenthal's dumb rats failed at the maze. The answer isn't a new app. It isn't a screen time setting. The answer is almost 2,000 years old, and it was figured out by a man who was born a slave. His name was Epictetus. He lived around 108 AD. He had been enslaved as a child, freed as a young man, and spent the rest of his life teaching one idea so sharp that emperors and generals came to learn it. He called it the dichotomy of control.
Some things are in our control, others are not.
That's it. That's the whole idea. But sit with it for a second. Because there's only one mind in human history that figured out how to fail a Rosenthal effect on purpose. And this was his move. What's up to you, Epictetus said, is your judgment, your response, your attention, your will. What's not up to you is everything else. What other people think, what happens to your body, what the world does to you. The vast majority of human suffering, he taught, comes from one specific mistake: treating things that aren't yours as if they were. Now look at your phone again. Not the notification. The notification is not up to you. It was sent by a system optimizing for your engagement. Not the feeling that arrives when you see it. That feeling was engineered, calibrated by a model trained on millions of users like you. Not even the urge to pick it up. The urge is the algorithm's expectation, transmitted through the microsignal of a buzz, learned by your brain over thousands of repetitions. What's up to you is the next half second after the urge appears. That's the only piece of the loop that's actually yours. So here's the move. 3 steps. You can run it the next time your phone buzzes. 1. Name the pull. When you feel the urge to check, say to yourself, out loud if you can, what the system is expecting from you in this moment. It's expecting anxiety. It's expecting comparison. It's expecting boredom relief. Naming it pulls it out of your nervous system and into your awareness. 2. Separate stimulus from response. Epictetus had a word for this: prohoresis, the faculty of choice, the half second between the urge and the action, where you, the actual you, get to vote. Most of us never use that half second. The whole loop runs in autopilot. Insert one breath there, and you've already broken the experiment. 3. Choose the response that's actually yours. Not the one the algorithm expects. Not the one your trained brain wants to deliver. The one you'd choose if you were alone in a room with no phone at all. Sometimes that's still picking up the phone. That's fine. The point isn't abstinence. The point is whose expectation you're meeting. You don't beat the algorithm by becoming a monk. You beat it by reclaiming the half second. Every single time you do, you're failing the experiment in the only way that actually matters. Rosenthal's experiment never really ended. It just changed venues. The classroom became your pocket. The teacher became a recommendation engine. The student is still you. But Epictetus figured out, 1900 years before anyone built a smartphone, the one move that breaks every version of this loop. Some things are in your control. Others are not. The half second is yours. The expectation isn't. You're the variable. You always were.
If you found this interesting, there's another pattern your phone is running on you that I want to walk you through next, and another ancient idea that breaks it. Subscribe to stay connected, and I will return with more ancient wisdom that helps us in our everyday lives.